Welcome back to Seduce Me. I had to re-record some of the audio, so sorry if it sounds kind of weird. Hopefully it doesn't mess up your flow too bad. It doesn't throw off your groove, as Cusco would say. So, back to the story. I'm moving to my grandfather's house tomorrow. I should probably pack my stuff so I would be prepared for tomorrow. I should start packing. I opened the closet, rummaging around for a while before I finally found 2 large bags. Pulling them out onto the floor of my room, I then began to empty my drawers and cabinet so that I could bring all my things with me. I didn't have much to bring other than just clothes and some toiletries. It was kind of bizarre that I didn't have many personal belongings. It wasn't like my luggage was completely devoid of them, but I certainly didn't have things in my room I would miss if I just suddenly left the house. I shook my head to rid myself of those thoughts. If it was going to be my new home, it would have to feel like it. One way or another, I was going to make it in. Whoa. Just as I was packing my things, my cell phone began ringing and vibrating. I slid my phone out of my pocket and answered it while slowly easing myself onto my bed. Who could possibly be calling?
Hey, Anderson, you there? Is everything all right? We were worried about you, so we decided to call. Hello?
I'm really glad you guys called. My voice managed to come out, though it was only a whisper.
What happened? Are you okay?
Well, I began to tell him about this funeral. To my relief, Naomi finally spoke up.
I can't begin to imagine how you must be feeling right now. I'm so sorry. Do you want us to come over right now?
No, it's okay. My dad isn't in a good mood, so can we just keep talking on the phone like this?
Of course!
I think it would be nice if she,
We'd
went
stay
out.
on the phone until the crack of dawn. Right, Suzu? Yeah.
Get ice cream.
We're always here if you need us. After all,
Oh.
we wouldn't be the awesome triple threat trio without you, right? Triple
Yeah.
threat trio? That sounds like the name of a gang. Yeah, I mean, we're all taking on the world together. We've got to sound somewhat scary, or else no one's going to take us seriously. What's with you and naming things? You've got to step up your game, Naomi. Falling behind to the cool kids like Anderson and me. Tisk tisk. Hey! I'm a cool kid! If anything, I'd say you have to step up your game.
We chatted cheerfully about all sorts of things. Very soon I had forgotten about the events of the day and was engaged in a conversation about Naomi's favorite TV show, some program named Herlock. Like Sherlock. Oh my gosh. They're totally talking about Benedict Cumberbatch. We all agreed that the actor playing the titular character certainly had a very distinctive look about him with that long overcoat and scarf wrapped around his neck. We had many disagreements about who we thought was the coolest character. Yeah, he has. This is totally Benedict Cumberbatch in Sherlock. He has really high cheekbones, and his eyes are pretty. Though I do have to say, I prefer Jetson instead of Watson. Johnson. As a bonus, his character is just so sassy. Oh, realized how late it was? Whoa, it's already 1 a.m.? Sorry for keeping you guys up so late. I think I'm going to hit the hay for tonight. See you guys at school tomorrow. I should probably shower and go to bed. I can't believe I stayed up this late just to talk to my friends. But it was really nice. Well, to the bathroom I go. Thank you for announcing that to yourself. I took a relaxing shower. Nothing beat hot water and the feeling of being clean. After drying myself, I promptly dressed in my pajamas and crawled into bed. She now says it again. It had been a really long day. I knew that I was wishing for something to change back in class, but I certainly wasn't expecting any of the things that happened today. And I have to go back to school tomorrow. Ugh. I curled up on my side and tightly wrapped the blankets around me. I really wasn't in the mood to be returning to school, but my dad probably would just make me go just for the sake of it. I reached out to turn the lamp on my nightstand to turn off the lights. However, my mind was so lost in the passing of my grandfather and the thought of inheriting something so big that it haunted my mind the entire night until the next morning. She didn't get any sleep. It's already time to wake up? Wait, school! As soon as I realized I had looked at the vanity mirror. That's a relief. Luckily, there was barely a bruise on my cheek. You really had to squint to actually see it. I doubted anyone would actually notice it unless they leaned in really close. Breathing out a sigh, I got dressed, took my backpack, and caught the bus to school. It wasn't even hours before everyone heard of the news. I was approached in school and given condolences for my loss. However, that wasn't what shocked my friends.
Wait, so you have the whole Anderson house to yourself?
Lucky as hell, man!
Wear different clothes?
Quit being so sensitive, Naomi. Quit being so vulgar, Suzu.
I don't know who's right. I don't know. I feel like I keep hating on Suzu. Why do I have to pick one? Um, Quit being so vulgar or quit being so uptight? I guess
Of
Suzu's right.
course you would side with her. Ha! See? At least she knows how to have fun.
I've
I know how to have fun. You don't need to be wild to have fun.
Guys, I'm going there after school today because my parents want me to get used to living there.
It hasn't even been a day since you came back to school.
I know, but my parents want me to try living there as soon as
Still,
possible.
that's really fast. Are you going to be okay?
Of course. Life keeps testing.
Hey!
What?
Don't go around shoving people like that.
Whoops. Did I strike a
What?
nerve, Capini?
Lisette looks like a tranny. Oh my gosh, what? Well, you know, like, she has very broad shoulders. Kind of a weird haircut. Lisette, one of the people...
It's not me you should be apologizing to.
Oh, Anderson. Hey, how's it going?
I'm alright.
Haven't you already heard, Lisette?
Of what?
Her grandfather's passing.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I don't really watch a lot of news.
It doesn't really sound like you mean it.
I do mean it. Earnestly. Why wouldn't I?
Typical Capini. Isn't her family involved with the mafia or something? I wouldn't be surprised if she brought out a bat from behind her back right this moment.
They're talking about Suzu. Because she's Italian, right? I nearly forgot in the crowd that followed Lisette, which was mostly comprised of people no one wanted to see on a typical school day. No one had the slightest idea why exactly they followed Lisette around persistently, but they labeled themselves as social equals with her.
That is out of line! Suzu comes from an honest family.
That's right, Naomi.
Yeah, your dad
Oops.
doesn't make anything unless he's in the court with dirty politicians.
Hey, let's all calm down for a second,
Is her dad a
all
lawyer?
right? I'm sure Anderson needs some time to recuperate. I mean, what just happened? We need to give her some respect.
Just stop. Stop acting like that already, like you feel sorry for me.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure you're happy seeing me like this. You already have everything you've wanted, and now seeing me like this, life couldn't get any better. Bitterness seeped into me and words started flying out of my mouth without filter. But honestly, I didn't care. A lot of my friends are like open-mouthed, and she's just like grumpy face. What exactly am I to you? Just another part of your obstacle course? Is that what I am? I'm sick of it, Lisette. I'm sick of all these charades. I'm sick of you. Gasp rose from the crowd around her, and I was brought back to the school. And everyone's like still shocked. Now even Lisette is shocked. I was brought back to the school hallway. Even my friends beside me looked at me in surprise. One girl looked like she was going to speak up, but Lisette held her hand up to stop her. There was an emotion in her face I couldn't quite make out, but I could see a form of pity in her eyes. No, don't you dare pity me. I looked away from her. I didn't want to see that emotion in her eyes when she was talking to me. She didn't have the right to look at me that way.
I'm sorry. I know your grandfather passing away must have really taken a toll on your emotions.
I don't know if I should actually forgive her. She stepped towards me and put her hand on my shoulder, giving me a tiny smile, as if for old time's sake. But for some reason, I didn't feel comforted at all. Not that I was just angry at her, but the expression on her face when she leaned in close to me contorted into something complex. Something was different about her. I couldn't quite place my finger on it, but something about her had definitely changed.
Well, I'll be going for now. Track meet responsibilities and all of that stuff. See you later.
Something about Lisette made me uncomfortable. I wasn't just angry, but also uneasy. What was it? I'd never seen her like that before. But I decided to pay no further attention to it. She continued running down the hallway with a gaggle of her friends behind her. I refocused my attention to Mrs. Phillips, who was walking down the hall towards me.
Is everything all right, girls?
Nothing we couldn't handle, Mrs. P. Just a bunch of snobs.
Suzu, hush! It was nothing, Mrs. Phillips.
I see. Well, Miss Anderson, please accept my condolences for your loss.
Thank you, Mrs. Phillips.
Your grandfather was a good man. He really upheld the philanthropy of his company's policies, and the money that went towards charity, too.
I know. He was amazing. I really looked up to him, and I want to be as good as he was.
Well, I know that you'll be as great as your grandfather.
Hell yeah, she will. She'll be 10 times better than her grandfather.
Oh my gosh. Would I really be better than my grandfather? Everybody seemed to have high expectations for me. I wanted to do my best and make my family proud, but to be better than my grandfather? I wasn't sure about that. From the outside school window, I saw a familiar blue car pull up to the curb. Undoubtedly, it was my father in the driver's seat. Oh, my ride's here. Well, I guess I'll see you both tomorrow. Want us to come with you? No, it's okay. I'll be fine. See ya. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey.
As I got into the car, I noticed my father looked troubled, clutching at his steering wheel and staring straight ahead as if something was really bothering him.
About what happened yesterday. I'm sorry for yelling at you. Does your cheek still hurt?
It's nothing to worry about.
I mean it. I shouldn't have laid a finger on you. You know that you're my most precious daughter. You're all that I have.
He couldn't bring himself to say what he could never say to me for such a long time. I always wanted to hear those words to affirm how he really felt, but I guess even now he couldn't say it to me. I turned my head away to look out the window. There was no point in waiting for something that was never going to come. And like that, he started to drive and the conversation between us had ended. I decided to focus my attention on the passing scenery. We were taking the usual route to Grandfather's house. It was located within the vicinity of the school district, but it was still pretty far from the school where our house was. He had always lived alone. He insisted on doing things by himself, even at his age living in such a large house. I wondered, did he pass away with no one at his side as well? He sounded so lonely and sad. It was strange that he decided on living all alone in his large estate. If anything, he could have lived with us. Though he and my father probably would have given each other the silent treatment the entire time, maybe living alone was preferable to that. I actually hadn't visited him for quite a while. Visits to his house were more frequent when I was a child, and I had grown up long since then. The last time I visited, though, I thought he looked just as he usually was, happy and healthy. But things change. In the back of my mind, I knew that he would have to leave one day. It wasn't like humans could live forever. So why did my heart still feel so heavy? The car ride was mostly spent in silence until he spoke up again.
How was school? Maintaining your grades, I hope.
Ugh. Yeah, I've been trying my best as of so far.
Trying? That's not really doing the best you can, is it?
I'm gonna smack you, Daddy-o. My father, only some words I said were filtered through his ears. It was difficult to try and keep up a conversation without eventually talking about academics or my future, even if it was something loosely based on it. He always found a way to integrate it whenever we talked.
Your belongings are in the trunk. There isn't a lot, so I'm sure you can manage bringing them inside the house. After all, you are on the road to being independent now.
Yes, I can manage on my own. The usual silence resumed between us. I really wasn't sure what to say around him, especially when most of the time we didn't share the same opinions. One question did linger in my mind, though. If he was going to justify acting so nonchalant at Grandfather's funeral, I had the right to at least know why. I'm gonna try it again. Say, Dad, about you and Grandpa.
We are not talking about this.
I feel like we should be, because Grandpa did leave us yesterday.
I wouldn't care if he had left even long before that. I do not want to hear it, and that is the end of this conversation.
You are so rude. I opened my mouth slightly, but I closed it again. It was like talking to a brick wall. It wasn't like I could find out anything by somehow arguing my way through it. All right, then. I really couldn't think, what would this place be like? I had been to my grandfather's house before, but it was one thing visiting, and then another thing actually living there. How would I manage living on my own without any training to really care for a house? I knew that naturally the bills would be paid by my parents, who inherited grandfather's stocks of the corporation, but I had never lived independently before. Thinking about it made me feel like some kind of bird being pushed out of the nest. Though I was technically an adult, I felt unprepared and a bit daunted at the prospect of actually moving into a new place. Most people my age would be ecstatic at moving out. After all, it would symbolize some kind of change in their lives, like being on the road to independence. But I feel like it was nothing of the sort. I really hoped I wouldn't let my parents down. I wouldn't want to let grandfather down. What would he be saying right now? I gazed up at the passing clouds in the sky. If you're out there, grandfather, how would you be doing? Would there be anything you'd want to tell me? And of course, no answer. Yeah, they tend not to respond back. What was I doing? Searching for an answer in a heaven that would or would not exist? I ducked my head to stare at the blur of trees and cars in the car window. My head was definitely going into the clouds at that moment. Either way, I found myself being driven off to my new home.
Here we
Carl
are.
just stopped and I drifted.
Go on in.
All right. Tell Mom I love her.
All right.
I love you, Dad. No, make sure to come by and visit us often. No, I'm going to miss you lots, other than a blank stare. I paused a bit before reaching for the car handle, waiting for any form of a goodbye, but he didn't speak again. I sighed and exited the car, hearing my dad pop open the trunk. I saw the 2 large bags I packed last night that were large enough to carry only the things I needed. I took them out, placed one bag on each shoulder, and closed the trunk. He then drove off, leaving me alone in front of the mansion. I watched the blue car fade into the distance of the road before turning to see my new home. There it is. It's huge. My grandfather gave me this? It's hard to believe. Tall gates, and she pushes them open. The house still looks like it did when it last visited him. At a glance, it seemed kind of intimidating with its size, though if I came closer, it was clear that there was nothing more to it than that. Or no, there was more to it. Sorry. The brick walls were framed by shrubbery and lovely flowers, giving it a homey and welcoming look, but in contrast, the tall doors into the house gave me a feeling of grandeur. Who knew what was waiting for me? Or whom? But I wouldn't back down at this moment. I took the key to the front doors and unlocked them. Well, better make myself at home. I'll be staying here for quite a while anyways. That's when I saw them. Lying on the floor, I don't see anybody on the floor. Lying on the floor was a group of men. They were all unconscious, but there was no explanation of why they were there in the first place. I dropped my bags as I let the door close on its own behind me. Huh? Who the heck are these guys? Why are they here? What's going on? Some of them had open wounds. The blood was staining the floor and the scent was intermingling with the air. I couldn't help but feel bad for them instinctively, but nevertheless I was shocked and a bit angry at this sudden intrusion. My mind suddenly went from caring to concerned to confused and demanding answers. Who are you guys? Oh, I'll call the police. Still nothing. None of them seemed to be awake to answer or respond to me. It seemed surreal to have random strangers in the house I just moved into, but I wanted answers. Quickly. Well, that was until... Oh, get away from me.
Woman, you're going to let me kiss you.
Excuse me. I couldn't believe it myself, but with a mere blink of an eye, one of the men went from lying on the floor to being right in front of my face. What was even more was I felt serene and calm about it. Slowly a desire burned in my chest, telling me to accept his kiss, even when my mind, I can never pronounce this word, vehemently refused. Go ahead.
Good.
Oh my gosh, you actually kissed me? I just met you, dude. Back off. As he kissed me, I could feel my body go weak. I didn't know why, but that kiss was draining me of energy, and yet It was so good, and it made my heart sing. It was a strange and tingling feeling that danced over every nerve on my body. I could feel streams of intangible energy run up my body and into my lips. It felt odd, but at the same time it felt amazing. He is sucking your life
Sam,
force.
stop it.
The person kissing me, Sam was his name?
I
Glanced behind
said
him.
stop. Now.
Fine.
I bet the guy with the deep voice is the one on the left. I like him. Although we'll see who I like the best. Finally, he pulled back, and I was left standing there in a daze. Huh? I couldn't tell what was going on. My mind was completely enwrapped by the kiss in my thoughts that melted into the depths of my forgotten memory.
Please forgive my brother. He's a bit reckless.
At least I feel a hell of a lot better than you right now.
Because you used your abilities on her.
Sam, you're such a reckless brute. Taking advantage of a beautiful young woman like her.
He has fun hair.
Shut that pretty boy mouth of yours before I rip it off your pretty boy face.
Sheesh, you guys. Can we not fight right now? Not all of us are in the best state.
You need to rearrange your wardrobe, but otherwise you seem
I
nice.
guess you are right, Matthew.
I agree.
These guys are cute. Oh, here's the last one. Now it's the lineup, like in the beginning. Yeah, this is like the silhouette. Okay, cool. However, as the men got up and started to chat freely, my thoughts began to reassemble, and I remembered my confusion and anger once again, only now multiplied tenfold. What?
Huh? Did you say something beautiful?
Flirt. And I exploded. What is going on? Why are you all here in my house? Why are you all wounded? Why did you kiss me? Who are you guys? And they're all like, what? I mean, I didn't do the all caps version of that because I would blow off my microphone. But you know. I couldn't help exploding after being taken advantage of and being left in a mush state. My words escaped without filter. I definitely scared the men around me, even the man who kissed me. Wait a second. The guy who kissed me.
Ouch! What's your problem?
Yeah. What's your problem? You can't just go around forcing people to kiss you like that. Are you some kind of pervert?
Pervert? It was only a kiss!
It might mean nothing to you, but it means a lot to me.
What? Was it your first kiss?
Yes.
Ow! Hey! What was that for?
I know first kisses aren't exactly amazing and full of sparkles and something out of a fairy tale, but I had at least expected it to be something more than just forced.
So it was your first kiss. Stop making such a big deal out of it.
Are you asking to get punched again?
Well, what do you want me to do? It's not like I can somehow take it back.
Ask him for an apology. You should at least apologize. That would suffice. As if to himself, he muttered something under his breath.
Why do I always look like the bad guy? Apologies aren't my forte, but I'll try my best. Okay, fine. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Sorry about what?
I'm sorry for kissing you like that. I went too far.
That's right, you did. He sighed and ran his fingers through his hair.
I didn't mean for it to turn out that way. It's just, I act on impulse, okay? It's difficult to control myself and... What am I saying?
Use your self-control. Put your hands in your pocket. It's okay. I get what you're trying to say. Thank you for the apology.
Yeah, no problem.
So I gained heart with him. Is he green? Anyway, if you try to pull any funny business in the future, just a fair warning. I know Taekwondo. I think I've bickered enough. Time to get back to the main issue. So, what exactly are all of you doing in my house?
Miss, please forgive us in our intrusion. We didn't know this abode belonged to anyone, nor did we have the time to take that into consideration.
What do you mean? You're just barging in people's homes.
We wouldn't have had to if we weren't as wounded as we are currently. We just escaped from a deadly fight that could have ended our lives. Luckily for us, your home was near and the windows were unlocked, so we quickly came inside.
Last time I remembered, there were laws preventing strangers from stepping on private property. Although considering the severity of their wounds, it had to be serious. I guess that explains the wounds, but not why he kissed me. He had absolutely no right to do that.
Well, lovely flustered lady, it's hard to explain, truly. We're not exactly normal.
Not normal. What are you guys, demons or something? I asked almost jokingly, but the boys seemed to take my question differently.
Well, yeah, actually, something like that.
Oh, you seem too sweet to be a demon. What?
We're incubi, miss. Demons who consume and use sexual energy of humans to survive.
Oh my gosh! Incubi? The fabled demons that existed to haunt humans and make them sex-crazed monsters? The mythical beings that could look like anyone just to get into your pants? The imagining monsters you only saw in movies or TV?
Hello? Did you hear him?
We're telling the truth.
Do you think she's still processing it?
Yes, and she'll understand right about...
Right. It was funny while it lasted, but it's time to cut the joke short. Incubuses don't exist. There was no way they existed. That would be practically impossible. Lucky lady, house full of incubi, they're all gonna kill you. Seduce you.
Ahem. Incubi is the correct plural form. And yes, we do exist.
Prove it. As soon as the words left my mouth, I instantly regretted them.
Very well. Eric, go ahead.
Very well.
You can't
My
kiss me too.
sweet, you're so tempting with such non-belief. Let me ease your mind with a tender kiss. I promise you'll enjoy every minute of it. And maybe you'll even want more.
Is he the guy from the beginning? I know that the other guy who told him to stop was like the tall guy. This guy, Eric, seems to be the flirty one. What? Once again, I was lost in a pool of calm and serenity. Staring into Eric's eyes, I felt waves of heat course through my... I'm almost embarrassed to read this. Painting my cheeks red in their wake. I couldn't help but nod and agree to his offer. Yeah, okay. Another kiss. With another kiss, my heart began to flutter once again in my chest. My mind was spinning in a heated, passion-filled pleasure. Yet I could feel my body drain of energy as he kissed me.
All right, that's enough.
Aw, very well. I feel so much better.
As he pulled away, I was left in a mental mush pool. I felt weak in the knees, despite my will demanding me to stand straight in front of the boys before me. The world around me began to spin as I tried to speak. I think I'm going to...
Ah, where are our manners? I'm James,
Hi,
and these are my brothers. Sam, Eric, Matthew, and Damien.
Miss, are you okay?
Shit. She fainted.
Now seems like a good time to I'm pretty excited to actually get to know them next episode. So I think this is the first dating sim where there's been just a lot of smooching already. So we'll see what happens. But you guys stay sweet, like it. Tell me who you think is the most beautiful or charming so far, and we'll get to know them next time. Take care.